When in the past, I've gotten messages and they didn't call. This guy actually called, and this is what was different. I don't want to click yes on it because, no, you have to, so it'll go through, and then we can refund it to you.
How much money did you lose?
I think it was a little over $3,000.
Fraud happens every day, and good people are getting swindled out of their money at an alarming rate. On the True Fraud podcast, I sit down with victims of fraud and listen to their story. Then I chat with experts to analyze what happened, talk through the red flags, and leave you with tips and tricks to avoid getting swindled yourself. I'm your host, Billy, and this is the True Fraud podcast, brought to you by Sage Credit Union. Welcome back to the podcast, Alex.
Thank you for having me. I love being here.
Yeah, this will be a fun one. We're going to listen to a story from Dave. Dave is a local guy. He's a bishop at a local church, and he ran into some interesting fraud on his account. And this like all of our stories, it gets a little wild, right?
Yeah.
It's like it starts out kind of innocuous and it gets a little wild. So I think we're going to just jump right into it.
Yeah, definitely.
As always, we have our red flags. So when you hear something that's a red flag, you can raise that, and we'll have a little sound. There's a sound effect in case you were only an audio listener to our podcast and have always wondered what that sound is. We make that sound when the red flag comes up, and it's a quail sound.
Oh.
So here we go. Here's Dave. So have you watched our podcast or anything?
I have not.
Oh, okay.
Well,
that's a red flag.
6 days a week or 6 evenings a week. And then I'm a bishop at a church. And so I do that the rest of my spare time when I can find time. So.
Sure.
And when I got your call a couple days ago, I'm thinking, wait a minute, that phone number looks familiar. And I'm thinking of, do I want to answer it or not? And then I went ahead and did it. And of course, this is so-and-so from Pacific Crest or Sage.
Yeah, those are awkward phone calls for us to make because we know, like...
Well, you say we don't call you, and then all of a sudden you call. But I recognize the number, and that's something that I always sit here and think when I go into the credit union and I'm standing at the counter there and everything, and I'm thinking, like, I wish there was a big sign up there that says, "We will not call you."
That is what makes it hard, is that sometimes, we're trying to figure out, well, how do we get this information out to people? But it's not absolute. If we say, we'll never call you, well, that's not true. We do call you sometimes, Well,
that went through my head also because, they're calling me from the credit union.
So how did this whole thing start?
Got a text message saying that we think this is a fraudulent activity. And if I remember right, it was $199.99. Called, and they said they were from here, Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union Fraud Department, and we think this might be fraudulent. When in the past, I've gotten messages and they didn't call. This guy actually called, and this is what was different.
Okay, so I'm just going to pause it there and ask you a multiple choice question, and you at home, you can try to answer this too before Alex does. So the first question is, what could he have done to make sure that the call was from us? So because there's, anybody can call claiming they're from our credit union. So it's multiple choice. So I'm going to give you all three here,
okay.
A, B, C. So A, verify the caller ID. B, hang up and call back using the number from our website. Or C, ask for the employee's name.
Definitely B. That is the most secure way. So you get a voicemail or you answer the phone and just say, okay, well, I want to verify that you are who you say you are, so I'm going to hang up and call you guys right back.
Yeah.
If it were legitimately us calling, we would say we have no problems with that.
Yeah.
Like, hang up, call us back. Here's my name. Done. And they would call using the number on the back of their card or the number from our website.
Yeah. So don't use the number that they give you.
Absolutely
right?
not. Even if the number, so they can also spoof phone numbers. Mm-hmm. So it can make it look like it's coming from us. But if you were to not disconnect that phone line, they're actually not calling from us. So you would hang up, and if you were to call the number back that looks like ours, that is ours, it would be us. Because it's our number, but they're just making it, and the easiest way to explain it, they're calling from it, but it's like they're having like a mask. So they're masking their real number to make it look fake.
Yeah.
Or to make it look like our number.
So that's why you can't trust the caller ID.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, verifying the ID, the caller ID, you could run it through a reverse phone number check and it'll show up as, oh yeah, no, this phone number belongs to Sage.
Yeah.
But the best, most secure way is to just hang up, call us back from the number on our website or the number on the back of the card, and just say, hey, I got a phone call about a possible fraudulent activity on my account, and our call center will definitely be able to answer that. They'll be able to see if a card was flagged or if there's some suspicious transactions.
Yeah.
We would know that from our side.
And if there's a particular person you need to get to, they'll get you to that person.
Yes.
But, yeah. So what about asking for the employee's name? Is that at all helpful?
So the fraudsters have gotten really smart. They will go on LinkedIn and they will find people who work at institutions like investment firms, banks, credit unions. So they will have real people's names and they will just pretend to be them.
Yeah.
So they'll just impersonate them on the phone.
Yeah. I've seen an uptick in that. Like, you can go anywhere. You can go on Facebook and you can find out that I work at Sage Credit Union. So, a fraudster could use my name. So, yeah.
Yeah. It's just, they've gotten very smart.
Yeah. And we don't have like badge numbers or something like that.
No, absolutely not. I was talking to someone else the other day about it because they said, oh, they gave me an employee number. And I'm like, I couldn't even tell you what my employee number is. I'd have to go log in and find it.
So, okay. So the answer was hang up, call back from the number on our website or on the back of your card, somewhere where it's official.
Yes.
Even if the caller ID was from Sage Credit Union and the person on the other end says, oh, well, call us back at our 800 number. It is 800, blah, blah, blah. Don't write that number down.
No, just ignore what they say. Nothing is that urgent. Like there is nothing, and we'll probably touch on it later. There's nothing that important that needs to be taken care of in that immediate moment.
Right.
And it's unfortunate because how we reach people for fraud alerts is through text, email, and phone. That's also how scammers send out phishing content through text, email, and phone calls.
Yeah.
So really the best way is just to hang up, don't talk to them, don't give any information, hang up and call back on a number that you know.
Okay, good. So we'll keep listening to Dave's episode.
And so,
sometimes they can spoof our number as well. Like that's fooled a lot of people, to where it's our phone number that's calling you, but it's not us.
and that's what it was. It showed, I think it was either Roseburg or Eugene. It showed like it was coming from, like it was a local number. And I have a good relationship with the people at the branch I go to all the time. And so I just kind of think, okay, well, yeah, they'd reach out to me.
Yeah, trusting, like they're watching my account. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And I just believed it. And so he had me go online and look at my account. What he sent me on a text message showed in my account, and it looked all official and everything. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union, and said, "Was this you?" And I said, "No." And then he came back and he says, "No. You have to say yes on that so that the transaction goes through so that we can process it and get it back to you." So what's going through my head is I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, I didn't do this. Now I'm admitting I did. And so he sent it to me again. And I even asked him, well, I didn't, this isn't my transaction. I don't want to click yes on it because, no, you have to. So it'll go through and then we can refund it to you. And this time I hit yes. And that's when it all started, and it just started coming out of the bank. And my money was gone in a couple of minutes.
Wow.
I get angry about it. I get angry that this can even happen to anybody.
So were they able to somehow eventually log into your online banking?
Yes, they were.
So they maybe asked you for your password or asked you to change your password maybe, and it sent you a code? And then you just assume that code was, oh, they're going to help me.
Yeah.
But really the code was their verification to change the
Apparently so, yeah. I still don't know how it all works. But I think I gave them information I shouldn't have given them, and that's kind of where they got me. And I think the way it worked was they paid my credit card off, and then they ran the $199.99 so many times that then they had to pay it off again, and they paid it off through my debit card.
Oh, interesting.
And I never really did find out how exactly it worked, but that's how I can figure it worked was they would transfer money from my savings to my debit card, pay my credit card off, run the credit card up again, and then do the process again.
Oh, okay, so every transaction was the same amount, yes. $199 or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I believe there was one that was a little bit different, but not much.
They tried to just keep money moving and rolling to where you wouldn't be getting alerts about it.
It all happened within a few minutes.
All right. So, so the next question is, how would they have been able to get into his online banking? I tried to, talk Dave through it and give him some options to try to see if he knew, but it sounds like he wasn't quite sure. So, so multiple choice again.
Okay.
So A, it was an inside job. B, Dave gave them his multi-factor authentication code or some kind of information that allowed them to get in there. And C, they hacked his computer.
From listening to the story, B, that's how they got it. I have heard C, it's never A. Like from the back end, we don't have access to your passwords. We wouldn't need any of that. We don't have it. We don't want to get into your accounts like that.
So we've got systems in place.
We have systems in place to where everything is tracked, everything is logged. This would not be like an inside thing because it's just...
There's like no way for it to happen.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And so the multi-factor authentication code, that's super important. In fact, 5 years ago, banks were asking for that. They're like, I just want to make sure you are who you are. Answer this on the phone. Please provide this. Very rarely now do people ask for that over the phone.
Yeah. So let's make sure people know what a multi-factor authentication
code is. So you're logging in, it's something you have, something you are, and something you know. So you have your password. So you log in with using your password. And now using multiple authentication, sometimes it's called two-factor authentication where it's 2 steps. So like log into your online banking using your password. It'll say, okay, well now we're sending you a code to your phone. So now that's something you physically have. So you know your password, you have your phone. Okay.
So it's that little code that you get every time you try to log into anywhere anymore. Yeah. It gives you a little 6-digit code, and that's multi-factor authentication.
And it can also be some people's schedule, they have pass keys where they use Face ID or whatever other thing it's called. Face ID or biometrics. They're now getting into, in fact, the more secure option is an authenticator, which are like separate apps on your phone, but that's getting into it. Because scammers are getting around the multi-factor authentication by asking for it over the phone. And 5 years ago, that was relatively normal. Now it's not done so much because of the fraud involved.
Yeah. So do you think... So my theory on this whole thing is that they hit forgot password. They they knew his username, or maybe he gave them his username, who knows. And then they hit forgot password. So it sends him a code, right, on his phone, and they say, okay, give me the code, because they're us, right? They're pretending to be us. So he's trusting them, and he gives them the code, and that allows them to change the password.
Yep.
Okay.
And talking on how his computer could be hacked. Sometimes in the course of these phone calls, they say, hey, well, in order to help you, I need you to download this customer service app or whatever story they give for it. And usually it is a remote access app. So you download it on your phone, you go through that setup process. You think it's a customer service app to help. Yeah. It's really just a mechanism for them to get onto your phone and to basically remote access in and see everything you're seeing, doing everything you're doing. They can scroll through your phone. They can look and see if you have other banking apps. Most of the time, people use the same email and the same passwords for everything. Yeah. So it's kind of, once they get into your phone, they can get through everything. Right. I had a woman a couple years ago, she had her phone stolen and they got in and were getting into all her banking apps. And she goes, oh, my kids, I took pictures of their social security cards for taxes to take it to the tax person. She goes, oh, but it's okay, I deleted it. I'm like, well, did you delete your deleted folder? She goes, or what? So once they get into your phone, it's very easy for them to have all this access.
Right. So don't let people install things on your phone or your computer unless you're really, really sure that's actual tech support.
Yeah, and your basic information is out there on the internet. Like if I Googled myself and I went to one specific website, it had every address I'd ever lived at. It had current email addresses, phone numbers. You can really just find a lot of public records for people.
Well, I think Dave talks about that a little bit too. So, okay, so let's continue on here.
They were successful at making me believe that it was Pacific Crest.
I know in some of the people that I've talked to, that have similar stories. They've said, oh, the people on the phone, they were really convincing, or they kind of used like fear tactics, or some of them are, pretending to be the police. So they're saying you're going to get arrested. Or do you think there was any of that kind of manipulation happening?
There was. Not so much that I felt like I was going to be arrested or anything like that, or they weren't really pushing and pressing, but the hints were there. I think I'll go to the bank and check this out. And no, you don't have to do that. It was mild. The guy was friendly and helpful. He knew certain things on my account that I wouldn't think anybody would know about, and that's kind of was a little bit convincing there.
Yeah.
And knew where I lived.
Okay, so here we go. Yeah, so they knew where I lived,
Yep.
So the question is, and this is for you at home as well, how do fraudsters know about someone's personal information? So multiple choice. A, the fraudster knows the person they're victimizing. So somebody you know. B, purchased information from data brokers on the dark web. That sounds ominous. C, they used public records. D, they logged into some other account. So they broke into some other account using some other method and got your information there. Or E, all of the above.
All of the above.
There's a lot of ways for people to figure out information about you, right?
5 minutes on the internet and you can find out more about people than you would ever care to know.
Yeah. Yeah. Like he said, they knew where I lived. I mean, how easy is that, right?
Yeah.
Like anybody can know that information.
Yeah, you can. A lot of cities, and it goes by county usually, they have public assessors records. You type in a property and you get people's names.
Yeah, and that's just what's publicly available.
Yeah.
And then of course there's the whole social media thing and any information that's out there.
Pay a few bucks and you can get even more access. So a lot of places do this as well.
Yeah, yeah. And then so what about this whole dark web thing?
Yeah, so every time you get those little emails saying, oh, there was a data breach, this like OPM, the Office of Personnel Management, had a huge data breach that released millions of Social Security numbers. Well, those are just all out there. On the dark web, Social Security numbers go for $1. That's how cheap they are. Like you can just buy them. So because of all these data breaches, all of this information is just out there on the dark web. At some point, I would guarantee almost everyone is on a list of some sort. It's just what data brokers are selling, who's buying it, who's using it. It's out there. Yeah.
So if somebody calls and they know things about you that you feel like, oh, how would they know that?
Yeah.
They bought it is a really easy answer to that. Yeah. So they could have your old passwords because those come up in data breaches all the time. And then your social security number, your address, all your personal information.
Yep.
It's out there for sale.
Unfortunately.
Almost a guarantee. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's not a convincing argument when somebody knows something about you. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's listen to the rest of Dave's story here.
It was kind of an interesting experience for me because I usually would hang up. I don't even answer spam calls. And I've lost that little bit of trust that I had. And now I'm sure I'll get over it. I'm pretty sure I pretty much already have, but I'm just a little bit more weary.
How much money did you lose?
I think it was a little over $3,000. In the end, it all came back eventually, but it's kind of a hassle.
So it did come back?
It did.
Okay.
Good. Well, because the credit union covered it, but I mean, it's sad that they would have to do that. And
I'm sorry that happened to you. I mean, it stinks, that there's people willing to do this out there.
And what goes through my head is I can't believe I was that dumb. Someday they'll get caught. Yeah. I think they will. I don't doubt that at all. Someday they'll catch. But it's probably such a big deal that they'll never catch everybody. And
Right. Okay. So lots of red flags there.
Yeah. And I was thinking about what he was saying earlier is why they got into his online banking and how they were doing the credit card purchases and then transferring the money. You'd think, well, if they're already in his account, why don't they just transfer the money out? Because then they have to link an external account and there's a paper trail.
Yeah.
Whereas, yes, there's a paper trail who you're purchasing it from, but you can set up a business with a credit card reader and just run credit cards.
Yeah.
And that's why they did it so quickly.
Yeah. So I kind of got the impression throughout this whole thing that the fraud detection thing, that was actually us. Like a text message went out to him saying, was this fraud? Yes or no? And he initially said he said no, and they're like, oh, no, you need to say yes so that it clears. So they were just convincing him to tell us that it was okay. It was okay. And then once he said it was okay, then our fraud detection went, okay, well, Dave said it was okay. So let those transactions go through now. Yeah. Yeah. And then they just ran the same transaction over and over.
Yeah. I remember looking at his account, and it was a lot of transactions in a very short window of time. And so those suspicious transactions are flagged based on your behavior. So you look at his activity. It had, I think, I can't even remember what the site was for, but it might have been some kind of online thing, which he had never done before. And so obviously it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Is this you? So it triggers an alert kind of based off your normal activity. And that's different for people. Like when I lived overseas, we were traveling different countries all the time. I never got a fraud alert because my bank was like, okay, this is what they do.
Yeah.
But like I got an alert the other day for a small purchase on an obscure website. Turned out to be legitimate, but it said, hey, is this you? And so that's kind of the difference between like the real texts and the fake ones. So the real ones are say, here, this transaction happened. Is this you? Yes or no? And you just answer yes or no. Simple as that. If you say no, it might tell you, hey, well, call your bank or do something. At that point, you can respond no, or you can just call them. Like we said, hang up, verify, call.
Yep.
If you are suspicious, definitely, at least for us, you can go into the online banking app and you can lock your card. You go, well, I'm not in a position to call right now. I don't know what's happening. I'm going to lock my card so that nothing else can go through.
Yeah. So a lot of people might not know that that's a thing. I think a lot of cards out there have that, but in our app, I think there's a little section called card management.
Yep.
And you can go look at your individual cards and place like a temporary lock.
Yeah, and it's nice because like say I went to the gym, forgot my wallet at home. I'm thinking, oh my God, I dropped my wallet in the parking lot. Let me lock it. Let me lock the card. And then I go home and say, oh, well, I just left my wallet on the table. And then I can unlock the card and it's good again.
Yeah.
Saves you from having to cancel it and get a new one and reset all your payments and all this other stuff.
Absolutely. So people with teenagers, this happens all the time, right? I mean, they're going to, if they're using a debit card, they're going to lose it. I mean, almost a guarantee they're going to lose it at some point. So you can temporarily lock it. And then if you find out like, oh, it's actually lost, like then you can call and get a new card. Get a new one. Yeah.
With mine, it said I locked it, and then it said, well, what do you want us to do? Do you want us to send you a new card? Is this stolen? Did you lose it? Is this fraud? And because I didn't know at that moment, I just didn't answer those questions and then unlocked it a few minutes later when I found out, and it was fine. But like the fake fraud alerts, they tend to ask for your full card number. We don't need that information.
Yeah,
we don't need to ask you to verify your full card number.
We know your card number.
They ask for your account info, like your login information, your PIN codes, your credentials for that. We never ask for MFAs, like we said earlier. And usually the wording is they're stating the transaction is fraud. Not is this yes or no, is this you?
Or anything.
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
My computer went to sleep and then started over. Okay.
We'll just edit that out.
Right.
So they will say, the text messages, like fraudulent ones, will usually state, this is fraud, do something about it now.
Oh, okay.
So they're using fear and urgency. And not in this situation, but they tend to also ask for you to transfer the money. Oh, that was a fraudulent transaction. We need you to send it back to us. Real institutions would never ask you to do that because there are mechanisms in place to either claw back the funds or there's a dispute process. We would never ask the member, oh, you had a fraudulent transaction. You need to refund this money before we can refund you, which is some of the stories that we've heard.
Well, and we're never going to ask them to lie.
No,
right?
We would never ask people to lie.
So that fraudster said, oh, no, you need to hit yes, that was you so that the transaction can go through and then we can refund you or something like that.
No, because if it were fraud, we would say no, and then the transaction would be stopped and that'd be it.
Yeah.
It would just stop right there. It would not go through. It wouldn't proceed. They wanted him to say yes so that it would keep going through.
Yeah, we're a very heavily regulated industry.
Yes.
And so we do things by the book and we will never ask you like to do something dishonest or
No, to
tell
not
us
lie to
something
staff.
that, yeah.
No, we would never. Also, I feel this needs to be stated because I hear it a lot. We will never ask you to refund the money through gift cards or crypto purchases or wires. Anything that happened that Dave described can be fixed in the back of house.
Yeah.
With staff, like if he were to just call, any transactions can be stopped, they can be blocked.
We don't need you to transfer money to a different account or like to have it held somewhere else until we clear up this account.
Transfer it to another bank.
Yeah.
No, we don't do that at all. A lot of fraudsters also call at weird hours. 2 a.m. they'll call. And that's just not like a normal
Right. We have
thing as
business
well.
hours.
Yes.
Yeah.
So definitely be cognizant of that. Yeah, they just do too much.
Yeah. I will say our call center's open long hours, right? Our call center's open from 6 a.m. to midnight here, you know, in town. I mean, these aren't, you know, we don't outsource our call center or anything. So they're open long hours, but they're not calling you at, you know,
2 a.m. Absolutely
yeah,
not.
exactly. Yeah.
So ways that you can like protect yourself. So definitely do a credit freeze. I just recommend, even if you've never had fraud on your account, to just do a credit freeze. I'm even going down the avenue of freezing my children's social security number in their credit, because the last thing I want is for them to be 18 and be like, oh, you had an eviction at 2. And I'm like, they're like, what?
Right.
What are you talking about?
You have 3 credit cards that are maxed out and
And they're like, what? What? My birthday was yesterday.
Right.
So don't share multi-factor authentication codes. We've already talked about that. Hang up and verify if someone calls. You can definitely put, if you have had fraud on your account, you can definitely put a fraud alert with your institutions. You can put it on your credit. And definitely contact your financial institution if you have had fraud, or if you even suspect it. If you say, I got this phone call earlier, nothing came of it, but this is weird. Because sometimes we've had people who they're fishing for information, and they might not do anything with them over the phone, but then they might just start logging in. Yeah. Once they've gotten that access, they might start doing things in the background.
Okay. So I want to go back to the multi-factor authentication codes, because I think this is a little bit confusing, because sometimes you do give the person a code.
Some places. I'm struggling to think of a time where I did give someone a code. It might have been recently with like an investment company, and that's because I had a dormant account and I was trying to verify who I was.
Yeah. So what I was thinking was like, I've had an instance of this where they needed to help me with something on my computer, but it was like I reached out to them.
Yes.
And they said, okay, is it okay if we get on your computer and help you? We'll send you a code. You tell us what that code is. And it's really them verifying that I am I am. Yeah. But in that instance, I reached out to them at their main number.
You solicited that, whatever it was, tech support or something. The issue is when it's unsolicited, when you get random phone calls, random requests for this information.
Yeah.
A lot of the times people this is another tactic, because there are real emails that come out that say your password was recently changed. Was this you? That could be real. That could also be fake.
Don't click the links in that email.
No, don't click the links in that email. Like if it's Amazon or whatever, just log on to your Amazon yourself and change your password.
Yeah.
Like if you've gotten one of those emails, do not click the link. Just go in and go through that process.
And most of the time, those text messages that you get with your multi-factor authentication, they say, do not share this.
Don't share this with anybody. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's for legitimate purpose.
Yeah.
Don't actually share those. Okay.
Yep.
So what else?
There's just so much. So some of the other things that they do, I mean, it's just because a lot of the stuff, they try to mirror it as much to that institution as possible. I've even heard of fraudsters contacting people through LinkedIn, through fake jobs, and they're trying to like fish for information on how those banks operate, like what fraud protections they use, that kind of thing. So you really just have to be very suspicious. And at the end of the day, hang up, call your institution, verify what's happening on your account.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is an interesting one to bring you in for, because the people on the phone with Dave claimed they were from our fraud department. That's you.
We're
They
playing
claim to
fast
be
and
you.
loose with the word department.
Yeah. So, okay. So I think in summary, it's, so what are the steps Dave should have taken here?
So as soon as he got that first text message, he could have clicked no and then called us. Or he could have just ignored it and then still called us. And then that could have sorted it all out. The red flags of, and when he said, oh, I think I'm going to go into the bank and sort this out. If I were calling someone and they were saying, oh, I'm a little suspicious of you, I'm going to go into the bank, I'd say, please.
Yeah.
Go into the credit union, go into our branch, definitely speak to the person you're used to seeing in person. The fact that they said, no, don't do that. That's a red flag.
Right.
So basically, yeah, at the end of the day, he could have just hung up the phone, called and verified us, put a stop on his card, on his online banking, those steps.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of True Fraud. We're always looking for more people to come on and share their story with the world, because the more we talk about it, the more it removes some of the stigma and shame that people often feel after being scammed. If you'd like to share your story, please contact us. And if you are realizing you may have been a victim of fraud, we'd encourage you to reach out to local law enforcement and your financial institution. Sage Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA.